Okay guys, so welcome to a new video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Minecraft server from scratch with no prior knowledge. I know my last video on how to set up a bungee cord server went really well, and I'm going to be using that in this video as well as a point to break off of, but bungee cord is basically what it is it lets you connect multiple servers together, kind of how Hypixel or other minigame servers have it, and what that lets you do is to have like multiple minigame and survival and other aspects to your Minecraft server that you can all play from the main thing. And I'm going to be walking you guys through how to do it from the basics. So if you have just rented a server maybe, or you have just bought a server and set this up, or maybe even built your own, this is how you can do it. Now what I have here is all my virtual machines, and what a virtual machine is I have my own server like that I own, but I didn't want to do this tutorial on that because that's already set up, and I wanted to show you guys how to do this from scratch. And so a virtual machine is basically a virtual computer that I have set up here, and I just started a new one. I just made it, haven't even started it yet, called Minecraft server, and it's just gonna be a basic, nothing installed, and I'm going to show you guys how to install Windows 10, Java, everything you need to get your Minecraft server up and running. So I'm going to switch over to this. I'm going to start up the server really quick, and we're going to start installing Windows 10, and I will walk you guys through all of the steps on how you can get it working. So I'm assuming if you're watching this video you speak English and you're probably from the United States. If you need a different layout, you can select it here, but you could hit next after that and then hit install now. It's going to start up, and then it's going to end up asking you for a product key. Now if you have a key for Windows, you could put it here, but you can also just hit I don't have a key, and it will let you continue with your installation and come back later. Now what you're going to want to choose, if you're not going to pay for a key and you're just going to use it for free, which you can do as long as you're not going to do any, modifications with like your background or your personalization, like different colors, then you can click Windows 10 Pro. Windows 10 Home is cheaper if you're going to end up paying for it, but again, you do not have to pay for it. It's not piracy, it's just using it for free with the base thing. And Windows 10 Pro has a few more features that will be more useful if you are going to be running a server. You're going to want to accept these license terms, and you can read through them if you want. It's basically just all your privacy and rights you have. And then you want to hit custom. You're going to want to select your installation drive, which mine is only 32 gigabytes because of the fact that this is just a virtual machine on my computer. What you're going to want to have for a Minecraft server is an SSD, so you're going to want to really try to have a solid state drive compared to a hard drive. That's going to make loading in parts of your world a lot faster, also starting and shutting down your server. It's just going to be so much better with a solid state drive, and that's what I have here. And it's only 32 gigabytes, but that's just for this tutorial, so it doesn't really matter. And so it's going to start installing everything, copying the files, getting everything ready, and I will let you guys know when this is done. Okay, so it's just finished. It's going to say Windows needs to restart to continue. It's going to count down from 10. I'll just click restart now so we can get through this a lot quicker. And I'm sorry that it's really stretched right now. That's just because it hasn't actually installed Windows yet, and so your graphics drivers and all that other stuff is not going to be exactly correct. But it's going to be putting us into our out-of-the-box experience now, so we can continue with our installation, pick all our settings we want, and I can walk you guys through that. And then once we're to the Windows desktop, we can start getting all of our things for our Minecraft server actually ready. And you guys might want to remember this might take a little bit here, even if your installation went swiftly. Just don't worry about it. Just do not shut your computer off or your server or anything while this is going, because it can cause corruption and you'll have to restart from new. Okay guys, so once you get to this screen, you're going to want to just select the region you're in. This will help select your language and all your other like personalization features that you're going to need. I'm just in the US, so I'll leave it at that. Again, you could change your keyboard layout if you have like a different kind of keyboard, you know, different thing besides QWERTY and other things with maybe some different symbols or, you know, characters. I'll just skip this for now. And once you get to this point, you'll have set up for personal use or organization. You're going to want to select personal use because, I mean, you own it. And you can sign in with a Microsoft account, but because this is a server and we're not going to be using a lot of Windows features and stuff, I'm just going to use an offline account. And it's going to try to bribe you to get to use a Microsoft account, but you can click limited experience in the bottom left and set this up. So who's going to use this PC? We'll just call it Minecraft. And then a password of your choice, so I'll just make mine something insecure. But you guys are going to want to have a secure password for if you have, you know, remote desktop or some other way of accessing your computer remotely, because if someone compromises this password, they will be able to access all of your files and personal information that you might have on this server. And so the reason I am using a separate server to run the Minecraft server on is because if it gets compromised or hacked, I want to keep it isolated from my local computer so that all my personal data and everything is kept here. And you know, if someone were to hack a Minecraft server and get everything, you know, it's not as big of a deal if they were to get, like, compared to stealing your credit card or, you know, your address or finding other like personal information about you. So just come up with a secure password here, and you're going to want to type it again. And then you're going to want to enter some security questions, like what's your first pet's name, school you attended. This is just so if you forget your password, you can reset it. I'm going to skip through this, and you guys can just pick 3 questions here, or you could just pick random ones and enter like a random answer so you can reset your password. But I will skip through this part, and then I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, so now that we've picked those questions, it'll bring us to this. So this will let us change our different privacy settings for everything. Basically, all of these things that you would need or maybe use on a normal computer, you do not want to have on a Minecraft server. This is just gonna have a lot of extra stuff that you don't need running, and it will end up slowing down your server and the computer you're running this on in general, and it's just not worth your time. So you could just turn all this off, hit accept, and then it'll ask you if you want Cortana. Maybe on a normal computer you would want it. I don't know how many people actually use it, but you can just hit here, not now, and it's going to actually start finalizing our installation. So I will be right back with you guys once this is all completed. Okay guys, so we are at the login screen. Sometimes when you install, it might bring you just straight to the desktop, but for me it brought me to our login. So what you're going to want to do is enter the password you did that you set up while you were installing, and I think I typed that wrong. Okay guys, so now that we're at the desktop after logging in, you're going to be left with basically a blank desktop here. Microsoft Edge, I know a lot of you guys will want to use Chrome for installing stuff. I'm just going to use Edge because it's already here, it's less stuff to worry about, and you know, it's basically, you know, the same as Chrome now. But we can just look at Task Manager. You can see I'm on an i7-8700. I gave this virtual machine 8 gigabytes of RAM, our 32 gigabytes of storage, and our network. So a good thing to do is to turn off your startup things, because these will slow down your server when you're starting it. And we can actually go to Edge now. Skip all of this stuff. It's going to ask you to, you know, sign up for stuff or do other stuff. Usually you can close out of this and ignore all the stupid bloat. So first thing we're going to want to do is download Java 64-bit. So I will have all these links in the video description below, but you're going to want to find your Java 8 64-bit download. This link is what you're going to want to go to, and I already have it here. And so you're going to want to find your Windows offline 64-bit. And you can click on that, it's going to download, and then open file. You're going to want to ask if it wants to continue, and you can hit yes, and then install. Now this is just going to install Java so that the Minecraft server can run and everything else we're going to have. Now while that's installing, what we can also do is we can download Tuinity, which what this is a modified version of the Minecraft server jar file, which is basically what you run, and it is a lot faster. It allows for plugins. It is basically a modification of a modification that just makes everything run a lot better and a lot more, stable when you have more people online and a lot of plugins. So you're going to want to find your download here, and if you're playing on the newest version, you're just going to want to get your newest file here, which is also going to download. Now it's going to say that it was blocked because it can harm your device, but you're going to want to allow it, and now Java's already installed. One thing you're going to want to do, and I'm just looking this up, but these links will all be in the description. You're going to want to go to this link here, which is going to have all of your startup flags, which are basically what your Minecraft server starts with, that tells the server how to run and everything. And these have been heavily modified and optimized to make your server run the best that it can. So we are on the desktop now, and we can just make a new folder, and let's just call it server. Now in here we can move in we can delete our Java install, and we can move our Tuinity into there. Now Tuinity is basically the Minecraft server itself, so what we can just rename this to, just rename that to server. And you're going to want to go to your view at the top of your file explorer and click file name extensions and check that. Then what else you can do, make a new text document, select all of it, and call it start.bat or bat. You're going to want to hit enter, and it's going to say if you change a file name extension, the file might become unusable. We don't have to worry about that, just hit yes. And now you can see it's a Windows batch file. Now if we edit this and we paste in what we got from that site, we're going to want to pay attention to what we called this. So we called it server.jar. So here where it says paperclip.jar, we're going to want to get rid of that and call it server. Also at the beginning of this text, it says Java XMS 10G XMX 10G. Now what this is how much RAM we are letting the Minecraft server use when we start it. If we look in Task Manager, we can see this server has 8 gigabytes, and there's about 2.4 being used right now. So for a Minecraft server, the optimal amount to give is around 8 gigabytes, but we can't do that because the server only has 8, and Windows we can see is using about 2.5. So I'd say a safe amount to give the server would be about 4. Now what we can do here is we can set XMS to 4G and XMX to 4G. Now what XMS is when the server starts, this is how much RAM it gives it, and when the server is at its max, what it's allowed to use is this. And so basically this lets you, when the server starts, it already gets all of the RAM it needs, and it doesn't have to worry about trying to get more later. So it can already pre-allocate everything, and it's already ready to go. Also, we will pay attention at the end of this bit that says no GUI. So when you start your server, if you want a little window that gives you like your player list and some statistics, then you can get rid of this, which I'll get rid of just for the sake of the video. But if you want that, if you don't want that, sorry, just you can put no GUI. Another thing that's good for this, at the top we can do @echo off, and then the bottom line we can hit pause. So this means if our server crashes, we can look back through the console, see what the problem was before it closes the window that the server was in. And now once we have this, if we double click it, it should come up with this window and say that it's downloading the vanilla jar patching. This will take a lot longer than it normally will because it will be your first startup that you're going to have. It's going to be creating a lot of files in here, and we're just going to give it a while. Then it's going to come up with a warning that says failed to load EULA.txt, the EULA or the end user license agreement. So you need to agree to the end user license agreement in order to run the server. So press any key to continue, we can just hit whatever, and it's going to have a file here now called eula.txt. If we edit this, what we have to do is change the false here to true, and save that, and then we can start up our server again. So basically, accepting the EULA is agreeing to abide by Microsoft and Mojang's rules they have set out for servers, and that just lets you run your server. So you're going to get something probably that says Windows Defender has blocked some features. This is, if you hit allow, that's just going to let your server access the internet. And so the server here is running. Statistics, this shows us how much RAM it has used over time. We have our memory use here, which is just how many megabytes, so there's only 600 right now. It shows how much has been allocated, so 4096 out of 4096, that's 4 gigabytes out of 4 gigabytes, so it's already pre-allocated everything. We have our average tick of 1.3 milliseconds. Now, a tick in a Minecraft server is supposed to happen once every 20 times a second. And so the max this can go to is 50 before your server will start to lag. But what we have here is where it says TPS from last 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 20. So the highest TPS you can get is 20, and that means that your server is running perfectly, there's no lag, you have no problems at all. You also have your console over here with your chat, and this will tell you everything like your server starting, you know, your survival, what port you're running on, the world loading, everything. And in your console here, it's basically the same thing, but if your server crashes, this window will close, but because we put pause in our start, this will not. So you can look back through here and see what ended up happening before your server crashed. So now that we have this, what we can do is if we go to CMD and we type in ipconfig, all one word, and the IPv4 address you get here is what you're going to want to connect to your server to. Now, I cannot connect because my server is, again, in a virtual machine, so it's in its own isolated environment, so it does not let me connect to it or access it. But this is the basics of how to, install Windows, get Java running, get a server running, and everything from here is all you need. So you can plot plugins in here, you can edit your world file, upload different worlds, everything you need. And you can also, in collaboration with this, use my Bungee Cord tutorial to set up a full-fledged multi-server network that you can use to play with your friends with mini games and other game modes and everything else. So I hope this was useful. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. I'm almost always active and willing to respond and help you guys. Thank you so much for the support on my last tutorial. It's been almost a year now, and I can't believe that that blew up as much as it did. I'm so appreciative of you guys. If you need any help, I'll add my Discord in the description. You can add me there, ask for help. But yeah, that's been about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I wasn't too boring, and I hope you guys have a good day.